podcast where we bring you the latest in gaming news, indie reviews, and everything else under the sun. My name is Kendall, and I'm here with my co-host.
Tony, aka Baldur's Plate.
Back to the food. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Listen, man. Honestly, every serving of Baldur's Gate is like the first time. It's crazy. This game is everything I've been doing for like the last fucking month. So I'm not mad at that one. I'm not mad at all. But of course, we are back again. This is Eclipse Day Games. We are here for the second episode of the year now. And like I said last week, we're kind of on a brand new year, kind of starting fresh. So I felt like this was a good time for us to reach back and kind of clear out some of what's been in the backlog, some of what's been sitting there for a while. I felt like we can address everything that we haven't played that's kind of been on the shelf, things that I wouldn't even be mad if we discussed some things that we hadn't picked up yet, but that we've been meaning to get to. But man, like I was telling you off air, man, I started making this list and I just kept typing out names. Like I'm like, this is getting crazy. Like I can't believe how many games I got here.
Yeah, man. No, I mean, I ain't even waste time typing the shit up. Like I said, I just pulled my library up. I put that motherfucking alphabetical order, and we just gonna ride that shit out.
Yeah, facts, man. Like you're gonna see some things that you forgot you owned, I'm sure. I guarantee you. But all right, so I guess we can go ahead and get into it. I want to point out one of my weirdest ones that I've been kind of meaning to for years and just kind of never got to. I mean, I played a little bit, little bits and pieces of it, but never actually delved into it, which is The Last Guardian. If you're not familiar with The Last Guardian, it's the third game from Team Eco. They made Eco, they made Shadow of the Colossus, and then they made The Last Guardian with the giant monster creature called Trico. That's why it's called Trico, because it's like completing the trilogy of Eco. Um, and it's like one of those completionism things that I never got around to. When it first came out, I heard somewhat mixed reviews, and I am still so high on Shadow of the Colossus. Like that's on my list of all timers. So I never really wanted to taint that. Like I didn't want to delve into it. I'm not gonna lie. Like if it's not gonna be the last time you hear this. There's at least one other series I can mention this about. But sometimes if I don't think the ending is gonna hit right, I be trying not to Game of Thrones season 8 myself. So that's been sitting
See,
there.
you in the perfect position because I'll tell you, like I tell everybody else, I didn't watch Game of Thrones in real time. I binge
Yeah,
watched that shit. It took me 3 weeks. Look, the ending was weak, but I wasn't as hurt by it by everybody else that spent 8 years on it.
that makes sense. I got in
So
like
we
season 2.
That's what I'm saying.
So
We far enough removed from when The Last Guardian came out and when Shadow of the Colossus came out. It's probably not going to hit the same way for you that it did for other people when it dropped.
yeah, and that's true. I know what I'm getting into, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of publicized what the game is. If I wanted to go watch the whole game, there's a million ways I can do that. But
That's fact.
I feel like that's a really interesting place because that I've tried to do it multiple times. Like I said, I played it a little bits and pieces here, but as time goes forward, it becomes even more archaic. Like the gameplay that things that might not have worked back then definitely feel like old now. So
Yeah.
hopefully I'm not like pushing myself further outside the window. I'm not the type of person that can't play something old. I still play Final Fantasy like 7 regularly. And that's man, an old ass game. Um, I played plenty of shit on Super Nintendo, but I feel like pixelated graphics are different. That shit don't really count.
Nah,
But
it's retro now, so it's like
yeah, and that shit's always be like
and it still look good.
there's a place you can get to with pixelated graphics is just objectively beautiful, and that's beyond even talking about like the HD 2D stuff. So
Right.
yeah, but that's the first one on my list, man.
All right. First one on mine is Biomutant.
Mm,
I'm pretty sure it was free on PlayStation Plus.
yeah,
And
I
I
think so.
downloaded it. Another one of those games that like people was hyped about and then it dropped and everybody was kind of like, eh.
Hmm.
But again, far enough removed from the shit where I might give it like it's an RPG. It. So when I read the description of it, it sounds like Jade Empire.
That's a wild comparison. I've never heard that
So
one.
okay, look, yeah, I'm gonna read it to you right now.
Okay.
Biomutant is an open world post apocalyptic kung fu fable RPG with a
I was
unique
about
martial arts style combat system. I
That's crazy.
mean,
That I took the name out of it and was like, could I throw Jade Empire right there? And yeah, I could. Yeah, I
the
could.
only difference is it ain't no shooting and mutant abilities.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's the
thanks.
same. It sounds the same. Whether or not it plays similar,
I doubt
who
it.
knows? I'll
I,
find out whenever I download and play the motherfucker
yeah,
because I
yeah.
plan on getting around to it, which is kind of the theme of everything that I'm going to list today.
Mm,
Is especially with this new SSD, if it's downloaded onto my shit, it's getting played.
thanks. I feel
So
that.
if it's not there, then like I'm clearing out the other shit. But if I'm putting it on my shit, it's getting played.
I'm not mad at that. And I want to shout out to Lily on this one because, one of the earliest Eclipse Theory supporters, one of the people that were, on the podcast before, she loved Biomutant. So that's one person that really was high on that game. So I'm gonna just jump straight to the other game that I was saying kind of is like a trilogy I didn't want to taint, which is something I've talked about before, which is Kingdom Hearts 3. It's not a bad game. It's not a bad, and I've gotten somewhere through it. Like I got to, I think, through a few worlds, like the Hercules world, and I got to like Tangled, I think, something like that. Um,
I got
but
two Hercules World.
no, 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 I got through.
No,
I
to me,
finished.
I
Oh,
got
you did.
to it,
Oh
and
man, okay.
then I stopped.
I see. I didn't know it was also in your backlog. Actually, I was not aware of that. But yeah,
Oh, of
man.
course, man, of course.
But I feel like it's worth like that's a game that I should go back and play. Like I'm robbing myself of the true ending of the series. Like no matter what happens next, this is like the
Well, yeah, until they
it,
drop Kingdom Hearts 787 and a half times X squared
listen, this Kingdom
backslash.
Hearts 3 was already pushing toward like this looks more like the cutscenes than the old games. And I'm not mad at that. Like the art style had a certain, it has its pros and cons, but I think it looks really good. But this new game looks like a whole different series. Like it looks like Kingdom
Yeah,
Hearts. Don't get me wrong. It's still, I get it. That was Nightmare up there in the big ass city, but he was in a big ass city, bro. That shit could have been like it could have been a new Square Enix
that
property.
could have been an anime.
Yeah, straight up. Like so they're going in a different direction. I'm not gonna say it's not Kingdom Hearts anymore, but three feels like the culmination of what we had before, and I need to play the game for that reason. Like it's gonna tell me so much. I
Yeah,
know that there's stuff at the end. I'm vaguely spoiled on the game, but how spoiled can you be
or
on Kingdom? I mean, like not really. I don't understand what I'm hearing because it's fucking Kingdom Hearts.
nobody understands the story of
Yeah,
Kingdom Hearts. I don't
yeah,
care how many of the games you've played. I don't care if you touch the mobile shit.
exactly.
I don't care. Nobody understands that story.
It's too much. Like, I mean, we're exaggerating, of course. Like, I watched a few YouTube breakdowns, and I've kind of had my head wrapped around it for a few days. But it's like I got to go back and study the shit again. It's like a college
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Like
No,
I'm gonna
it's
forget
work.
how. Eventually, I'm gonna forget how like Xehanort and Xeon and all these characters tying together. But
Like, I'm going to turn that game on one time, and one of the text bubbles is just going to say solve for X, and I'm going to delete it forever.
yeah, like it's gonna be over. But yeah, that's the next one on my list.
All right. Next up on mine is kind of a weird one, at least I guess for me.
Mm.
City Skylines.
Mm.
So I'm into like Roller Coaster Tycoon
Yeah,
and some of like the City Sim shit. Um, which is
same,
something I don't really talk about much because it just never
same.
comes up. But like I've spent like I had an old ass laptop back when I
Hmm.
was like 14 or 15, just old joint that ran like Windows 95. So it couldn't run shit but
Yep.
OG Roller Coaster Tycoon. And that's what I had. And I played that motherfucker for hours a day. And I'm talking about sitting next to like the Xbox and I'm playing that shit.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Um, but I'm like, I just want to, I want to give that a shot because I haven't played like a city sim on a next gen console or a current gen console. I was like, it's something I've never gotten around to because there's so much other shit. So I just want to see what it's about. And I've seen reviews. It's again one of them games that people was kind of, iffy on, but the people that fuck with it. So that's probably that
Okay.
won't get downloaded anytime soon,
Yeah,
but
but
it'll end up there.
I mean that's a perfect example of a backlog game. Like that joint might live on the backlog list for a while, but
Yeah.
nah,
And
I
and it's
actually
it's probably a good like turn your brain off game.
It absolutely is. I actually put some time in the City Skylines, and I wasn't really a Sim City. Well, so Sim City was a game that I've like picked up and played every now and then throughout my life. You know, it was just one of those games where, you know, you run into a PC back in the day. It was kind of a rare
It
sight.
was on there.
Yeah, like you was going to find City Skyline. I mean, Sim City, Roller Coaster Tycoon. You know what I mean? Certain games were just going to be present. So. I was always kind of interested and into it, and then like I've always said, mobile phones are like perfect for these types of games, like little Sims. They just put them in like bite-sized chunks, so
Yeah.
makes you realize these games can be pretty fun. So I put some time into it.
Yo, before we keep going, do you remember the Game Boy Advance version of The Sims, the Herbs joint?
Yes. Oh my God. No, I had the herbs on GameCube actually. Oh
I
my
had that
God.
shit on Game Boy Advance. I'm not a Sims person. Like
Mm.
Dominique plays the shit out of The Sims 4. I'm not a Sims person, but the Herbs had me in a fucking chokehold, and I don't know why.
You know what, man? That's you were the perfect person for the herbs. They were trying to get the non-Sims people. It was kind of like the herbs was like the Sims, but all social interactions. Like you just kind of like going through. I mean, not all social interactions, but there was so much like it kind of has been built on in the Sims 4, like where you
But
get
it was
like
also like it was more of a game
yeah, like you
than The
get like
Sims.
little
Like
you do get like little Guitar Hero type mini games and shit like that, like throughout the
yeah,
it's yeah,
it,
but
it
it was
was
weird.
weird. Like when I go back and think about it, like that, it felt more like there was an object, there was a story. You
Mm,
know, like I think somebody was trying to fuck the town up or something like that. But like I don't know, man. I spent so much time playing that fucking game, and then I
that's
get older and I'll be watching people play The Sims, and I'll be like, I don't get it.
man.
I
Listen,
feel like, and what scares me is I feel like Jim in the office where he's looking at Dwight playing Second Life, and then just end up playing the motherfucker to fuck with
yep.
Dwight, but you actually end up playing the shit.
I'm trying to tell you, that's exactly what it'd be, bro. Like The Sims is a game. Again, back in the day, you get a PC. That's one of those games that might be on it. You know, a lot of people played that. I actually had The Sims on PS2, like the first Sims. And if you
I know a lot
remember,
of people that did, yeah.
yeah, it was very different from how, you know, even The Sims 2 kind of was way more stylized than The Sims, the original one. That joint was like a PC'd out. So, but it was just a life sim. Like it really gave me that bare bones experience of, okay, I want this person to be, you know, I want them to go work here. I want them to have this type of family. Oh, you can, you know, I'm gonna cheat on my wife. Oh, I'm gonna be a murderer, or I'm gonna solve murders, or like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna make friends with this person. It's just a game you can kind of get lost in, just creating a little life. You end up having a kid, and like now you seeing this little child grow up, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna just start playing his life. Like after I finish with my
Uh,
fucking shit.
I'm gonna tell you what, I'm going to therapy. You know this.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not at the point in my personal journey where I'm willing to simulate life. It's already bad
Hey
enough out
man,
here. Let me fix this
honest to
shit
God,
first.
it's I feel that. I feel that it's kind of like therapeutic in its own way, in that you can live vicariously through your sim, but maybe that's not
Yeah,
the
but when I
healthiest way
turn the
to
motherfucker off, guess
yeah.
what?
Yeah, things get real. Things get that's how and that is how you get addicted to The Sims. Like you
See,
want to
and
go
that's
back
that.
and yeah,
Yeah, let me go
yep.
back in here.
Yep. So I feel that.
Nah, I ain't ready yet.
All right, next on my list is actually the first of a few that is a full series. I have a full
Nope.
series that has just kind of been waiting for me to pick it up, and that is Hitman. The
A
Hitman trilogy.
word.
Yeah, yeah. I've played that first game repeated, like not like played through it, but I picked it up and tried it repeatedly. And I'm just always like, this is huge, and I can see all the possibilities here.
Man,
And before I delve into this, I need to get this on so whatever I'm playing at the time out the way. And I just end up never coming back to it. So
let me tell you
yeah,
something. You're right because
yeah,
me and Dominique have played all three together. Have sat
okay,
down and just passed controller back and forth. We have literally played all three, like all the way through
that's awesome.
together. That shit will suck up every bit of your life
I
because it's
believe it.
so open. Like even like way more than the OG shit. This shit you can do whatever the fuck you want,
Yep.
however the fuck you want it.
It it reminds me of what I'm enjoying so much about Baldur's Gate 3, where everything just feels like a possibility. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna do a brief diatribe. I can't speak to Hitman, but I'm gonna just do like an example of Baldur's Gate. So I had to break someone out of prison recently, and I realized that I could just make them invisible and just walk them straight out of the prison. Or, you can negotiate, there's like a million different ways you can do. You can disguise them as something else and walk them straight out to prison. You can fight every guard in the prison, you know what I mean, and just kind of get out of there that way. You
Bradley
know what I
Cooper.
mean? Yep. Put everybody in there to sleep, you know what I mean? Like it's just a million different ways you can tackle it. And Hitman feels the same way where like, any given item can be used to murder a person if you really think about it. That's something I've thought
Right.
about in real life. I'm not gonna lie.
You can
But
put you could put yourself like start the level and go straight to whoever it is you're supposed to kill, and obviously just pop them and keep it moving.
right.
You could go straight to them and find a quick, sneaky way to take them out and then just dip, or you could literally just go through the entire like map and pick up clues
Yeah.
and different shit and then like pay attention to people's patterns. You could do all of that. You could be in the middle of paying attention to people's patterns and go, you know what, I'm bored. Let me just go fuck this nigga up real quick.
And that's what
And it
I'm worried about.
and you'll just be done.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I get locked into like, all right, I want to kill this motherfucker with rat poison. All right,
Mm,
when this dude coming around with his plate, I got to knock this motherfucker out and then bring the plate in.
okay. I'm not mad at like yeah, stuff like that sounds so fun. Like it's a true assassination simulator, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
if you don't get the Sims, just imagine this, but you're simulating life instead of death. Like just you can do anything.
yeah.
But
That's one that did not stay on my backlog for very long.
yeah, nah, that's gotta get played. That's definitely coming off of mine, but I'm definitely the type of person to do the whole like circle the map 16 times until I find out every clue I need to, and then like just fuck up the mission anyway. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be like
that's
that.
kind of the way to go. Next on my list, and this one I'm waiting on because I feel like I need people to play this one with Deep Rock Galactic.
Mm, okay.
It's like a dwarf simulator. Basically, like if you were high tech Gimli, digging
Accurate. I mean,
through. Yeah, I mean, there's like shooting involved and shit, and giant bugs and all kinds of crazy shit. But like, I played it for like I think 20 minutes before I realized this would be more fun with other people, and then I stopped.
mm,
And I downloaded I think over a year ago, and I just haven't gone back to it. So it's been sitting there for a minute till I can get some people to run with me. But like I fucked with I think I talked about this. I fuck with Steam World Dig.
yeah.
And this kind of has that same vibe without like the kind of the story heavy aspect of it,
Mm,
where it's just like see how far down you can go. There's some shit down here you gotta fuck up. Um, and then we just collect the shit and we getting out.
right. Yeah.
So that's one I want to take off, but I know it's gonna be a minute before I do.
That's one of those games similar to Steam World Dig that I just keep hearing the name come up. Like, and every time I hear it come up, I'll see a little bit more of it. I've never known that much about it, so it's dope to hear you kind of explain it just like Steam World did. Like I said when you talked about that, so it's one of those games that I don't historically don't play a lot of multiplayer shit, so I tend to
Right.
miss out on those types of games, and it's dope to see that and have those experiences. Those can be pretty dope. All right, next up on my list, man. I'm gonna. I think I'll talk about one that I've put a little time into, but again, huge game. I could tell what I'm getting into. It's gonna take hours of my life. Disco Elysium. So yeah, if you're not familiar with Disco Elysium, it is a like top-down, adventure game, basically point and click almost, but it's kind of unique in the way that it presents itself, largely dialogue based, but the amount of choices that you get are pretty crazy and pretty interesting. It's like pretty
Insane.
yeah, it's pretty in depth. And the thing that really stands out about the game is how fucking funny it is. Like that game is hilarious. Sincerely funny. For like a person that might not even vibe with the style of humor, it's one of those games that's so smartly written, you can appreciate it even if you're not laughing. So I really need to jump back into Disco Elysium.
Yeah, I got that on my Switch, just waiting to play it. Um, I think I started it. I got my character going.
Mm.
But I didn't go much further. Like my nigga still walking around in his underwear and shit.
Yeah, yeah, you're
So
prettier.
yeah, oh yeah, I'm very early.
Yeah,
But yeah, at some point I'm gonna get into that. But I got Got other shit on the Switch too. I'm just I'm reading off shit that's on my PlayStation.
Right.
Never mind what's on the fucking Switch.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, that's a PC one for me where like I'm actually like keyboard and mouse in it and it feels pretty appropriate for like a game like that.
Yeah, that's like
Um
some mistype shit.
yeah, exactly. And I can dig, but I'm just like, man, I'm really trying to get back into delving into games for like a few hundred hours. I don't know if Zelda was the first time I've done that in a while, but most likely, and now Baldur's Gate has got me on some like 200 hours of shit. You know what I mean? Last time I did it was Persona 5, which, I actually have Persona 5 Royal on my list as well, but I ain't going to even count that. I wasn't going to mention that one because I played Persona 5. Like, you know,
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much you're
it's
there.
it's a lot of content left in Royal, but I'm not gonna say that's on my backlog. It's more like I haven't tried the DLC, basically.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's
Yeah,
more like a DLC type thing.
yeah, yeah.
All right, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Okay.
I
It's gonna
feel
be
like when this came out, this was like this. People got way too up their own ass with this game
okay. I was one of those
because
people, so I'm interested to hear this.
no, when I say that, I mean from the standpoint of people saw it and went, "Oh, it's just more arena fighter stuff," and I'm like, "Motherfucker, this is the game we've been asking for since we was 8."
Yeah, no, I'm 100% being honest. I was one of those people where I was like, this ain't all of what I want, but it is exactly what you're saying. Like I've been wanting this game forever.
This is the one. This is the one we wish we had when we were all playing Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku on our Game Boys.
Right.
This
Facts.
this is the one that we wanted. So
Mm,
I hadn't played it because like I bought it. It's been purchased for years.
mm.
And it's just been sitting there because other shit.
Yeah.
There's so much other shit because I'll keep buying stuff behind it. And then it got to the point where I was able to get like all the DLC for like cheap. So now it's like I'm not even really missing nothing. I think I think I paid like $20 for the entire thing.
That's not bad at all. And then
Yeah,
isn't there some relatively recent DLC too? Like surprisingly
yeah,
new. Yeah.
yeah. Like I think within the last 6, 7 months
Yeah.
they dropped something.
Interesting. Hey.
So yeah, that's one I definitely intend to. Matter of fact, I think it's downloaded, so it's getting cleared.
Okay.
it's
Hey, that's on the
it's getting
list.
cleared.
Nah,
But
nah,
yeah, man, that's just like I said, it's the one we watching the show. You come home from school, you sit the fuck down. You wish you could do this shit, and here it
yeah.
is.
Yeah, that is facts. I've been so out of Dragon Ball games because of that exact reason. Like I know what I want out of a Dragon Ball game and haven't seen it yet aside from Fighters. Fighters is like exactly what I've been asking for as far as a fighting game for Dragon Ball. Like to a fucking T, like every part of it. So shout out to the
That's
to Fighters.
I tell you about what happened at Thanksgiving with my little cousin.
Oh, but yeah, but well, no, actually, no. I think
So my little cousin, two of my little cousins, Aiden and Malachi, they was playing in Aiden's room. They was playing Switch, and I had my Switch with me. I was at my cousin Carla's house, and I had my
mm,
Switch with me. So it's sitting in my hoodie pocket, and Aiden comes out holding both his Joy Cons in his hand, like I just beat Malachi in Dragon Ball. Now here's the thing: Malachi's an athlete. He
mm,
bikes, he wrestles, like he for real. He
okay,
can go. He a big stocky, I'm looking at Aiden in my head. I'm like, yo, Malachi be playing sports all the time. He ain't got time to get down on these.
right.
He like games, but he ain't got the time for it. So I stuck my hand in my pocket and I just disconnected my Joy Cons. Didn't even take the switch out. I just disconnected the Joy Cons. I pulled the Joys out. Said, Aiden, let's go. He looked at me like,
That's
really? I said, let's go.
wow, wow.
So
That's
I
a
walked in his
TV moment.
room.
Okay.
Dog, I walked in his room. He fired that thing up. Now whooped his ass.
Yep, I knew how to send it.
He was like,
Damn.
"Oh, you're really good." I said, "Yeah," and I started teaching him how to play because he was like mad aggressive, and I'm like, "You
Yeah.
can play like that, but learn how to pull it back a little bit." So after I whooped him, I started like actually teaching him how to play while whooping him.
That's how I go. Listen, this is literally a commercial. Like literally,
Uh,
that's crazy.
you you know how I felt when I just disconnected the shits in my pocket.
Literally, like that. You live for moments like that. Are you kidding me? That's fucking crazy. Nigga
It was
manifested some Joy
dog. It was
Cons.
so smooth too. I was shh, let's go.
Like, you summon them bitches like a fucking Mortal Kombat character.
Right.
Like, god damn. I would not play you. I'm not gonna
Dog.
lie to you.
I came out the room. Malachi walked by me. He's like, "What happened?" I said, "I got
Yeah, held you down. Yep, I ain't mad at that at all. Nah, that's one that I definitely need to delve into Kakarot though. Like I need to stop sleeping on the fact that we have a Dragon Ball Z adventure game in 3D with DLC going up to
Facts.
Super, if I'm not mistaken. Like
Yeah, yeah.
shit's crazy. Like, all right, so yeah, I might have to sit here and type that one on my list for that purpose.
Might
But
still be able to catch it on sale. I don't think the sale's ended yet.
I wouldn't be shocked if I already had the damn game somehow. Like it's just one of those games where
Shit
like,
just been sitting there.
yeah, like it's probably already on my backlog and I didn't even realize it. But for my next one, I want to kind of take it back a little bit. Like, I don't want to do all the modern stuff. I know we're going to kind of have mostly modern games, but I want to mention how I've never played Final Fantasy VIII before. Well,
What?
yeah, again, I've played bits of it. A lot of these games are going to be stuff that I've tried because if I want to play a game, I'm gonna at least try to get my hands on it for to some degree. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I might not always have time. It might not always hit. I got to be in RPG mode for RPG to really click with me. Um, Final Fantasy VIII was just one that I it didn't click for whatever reason. It wasn't anything about the game itself because I loved 7, 9, 10, 12. Like I loved everything that came around this game. Set 6, like you know what I mean. But even though six was also one I didn't finish. Don't kill me, everybody. But it is what it is. I was young. But
Yeah.
yeah, nah, eight, I really, really, really want to go back and play. Funny story. I remember hearing a story about Lupita Nyong'o coming to America for the first time, and her being like she didn't pay attention to anything she saw because she was playing Final Fantasy VIII. And I was like, this is when you became my favorite actress. You're like, you're amazing for that.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
that's
She
the
might jump to the top of the list there.
Yeah, yeah. I seen that she's taking that's a little heartbreaking, but it's okay. It's okay. That was supposed to be the
Ne-
one right there.
Neither one of us had a chance. It's okay.
Hey, listen, don't ever say never. Never say never, brother. Maybe say probably not, but don't say never.
Look, saying never.
You can say highly unlikely, but I don't like that never word. Don't be throwing that around.
All right, let me get down to Weird West.
So,
This is one I've seen. I had been following it for a minute
mhm.
before it dropped and just couldn't buy it when it came out. But I loved what I saw out of the gameplay. And then I saw it pop up on PS Plus. And I'm like, perfect. Because one, Devolver Digital tends not to miss almost
Yeah,
ever. And it's from the co-creators of Dishonored and Prey. So, I got to. Like I
yeah.
got to. It's an action RPG. I, I again, this one is downloaded, so it's getting played at some point. Um, but I like the idea. Like the Wild West action RPG. Like we don't see shit like that, you
Definitely.
know.
Yeah.
We get Western game obviously with Red Dead Redemption, Call of Juarez,
hmm
but like a action RPG,
That's like heavy
like
on the
fantasy
RPG.
type shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm fucking with it. So that's one that quite honestly, because I've beaten Mortal Kombat 1. Um, I'll probably take a little more time to kind of get get my characters down so I can
Yeah.
actually fight people. Um, I'll probably try to finish Tekken 7 and then I might jump straight into this because like with all of these games that I'm putting on my backlog, a lot of them are obviously AAA titles. So
Uh-huh.
you got to throw some indies in between to kind of like a palate cleanser.
Absolutely.
You can't
Yep.
you can't go too heavy.
And that's funny that you say that. I literally have a little section in here. I'll just jump to it now. One of mine is Return of the Obra Dinn. I don't know if you've heard of that game.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if the audience is familiar, but if you take one look at it, you'll never forget what this game looks like every time you hear the name. Like it looks like someone made it on a sheet of white paper, but it's so fucking incredible looking. Like it's one of the most unique looking games I think I've ever seen. And because I want to play it and I've heard such great things about it, I've kind of stayed somewhat blind to anything about it. But it's just been on my back. I think it is actually installed on my PC and just kind of been sitting there. And if I could just knock one else out, another one out there that I'm actually just started, Inscription, man. That's a weird
I
game.
think that's on my shit. I think that I didn't download it, but it's in my list.
Man, that is a weird game. I started it like right before I got Baldur's Gate, so it immediately hit the backlog list again.
Yeah,
But
no shit, it had no shot.
yeah, but man though, like I'm so interested in where this shit is going. I started on PC or on PlayStation. I might actually pick it back up on PC so I can kind of play it. I have a laptop so I can play it out like outside the house. But yeah, man, that's high because I know that that's getting weird. And it's such a simple game it seems, but it's solid challenge.
Yeah, that'll probably be one I come back around to. Um, Way out on the back end, but definitely gonna get around to that shit.
Hmm.
Uh, let's see. Damn, I didn't realize how many times I got Madden games. You know, I love football. Fuck it.
Yeah, yeah. Every now and then you got
You
to
know
take
what?
a good look at your sports
This
collection.
one, this one, I am highly ashamed I have not finished yet.
Hmm.
Um, because I started it, and it's a game that is like foundational to my love of gaming. A series that's foundational to it. That's Oddworld Soulstorm, especially for
Okay.
that shit having been free, like when it dropped.
Yeah.
Because I think this was the first like time that Sony did like the day one drop.
Yep.
This is free. And I downloaded like as soon as it dropped, I downloaded it. But like, I played Abe's Odyssey, I played Abe's Exodus. Those were games I played with my dad. Like we was
Okay.
really into that shit. Like it's funny because I sometimes I mess with Ario and I do the Abe whistle. That I do that shit just to mess with her. And I did it around my dad, and he looked at me like funny. And I did it again because I'm like, I know he remembers that shit. So I kept doing it, and it like
Yeah.
eventually it clicked,
Just
and he
kind of
remembered where it was from.
that's
So
awesome.
that was just a cool moment because like he
Yeah.
hasn't touched the game in forever, but he heard it and it was like like what the
Yeah, that just
where do I know that shit from?
unlock something from like a
Yeah,
generation ago.
and it's just another one of them games like Doom where we would sit down and we would map shit out. We'd have a notebook. I told you about the notebook. Like we had the Doom
Hmm.
passwords. We had all the shit that we was doing. We had it all written down.
Yeah.
But that was one we would sit and just swap controllers on and play. So that one is one that it is sitting downloaded on my system. But I do have to finish that one, if for no reason other than to satisfy a 9-year-old me.
Yeah. Yeah, I can appreciate that for sure. Opera was appropriately an odd series in my history. I remember being terrified of Abe as a youngster, but
There's the stitched mouth, man. That was
it
just
was exactly what it was. I was like, nah, I don't
yeah.
like that shit at all. But he was cool in like a Coraline type of way. Not even Coraline, but like Corpse Bride type of way.
But you know what the weird thing? Oddworld is the first game I remember playing where you were basically powerless.
Hmm.
Like he had his
Yep.
abilities and stuff. Like he could possess people and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. But you were
But you
clearly
spent like you couldn't fight.
yeah.
There
Yeah.
was no fighting.
It was it
You
was
had to throw meat and shit to get like animals to fuck somebody up for you.
hmm
The second somebody saw you, you had to dip out. It was almost like Metroid Dread before Metroid Dread,
yeah.
except
Yeah.
you didn't have like the window to parry. It was none of that. Motherfucker see you, you need to run. And if you stop for 2 seconds, you are getting gunned down.
And that's kind of dope. I'm not mad. I've never actually like thought about it in that particular context, but you're right. You're right. It is one of those. It's like being an empowered lemming. Like
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. A lemming that could possess people.
interesting. I mean, I might got to get a whole series of shots just off the strip for that argument. Okay, not mad, but
I think they did. They remastered the OG. It's
yeah,
they called it New and Tasty.
yeah. But I have that one, so I
Yeah,
know
you gotta
that's
fuck with it.
actually on my list for sure. All right, so here's one that I'm ashamed of just off the strength of how good of a game it is, how much of a Kindle type of game it is, and how many times I've tried it. One time I tried it and my save got deleted after I
That's a valid
finally,
reason to stop playing anything.
yeah, and it cursed me. It cursed me with this game forever. Near Automata. It's heartbreaking to me that I
I'm very
haven't.
surprised you did.
Yeah,
That's yeah.
bro, that's a me ass game. Like I would have played that multiple times over if it wasn't for that shit. Listen, I remember playing it on a console, getting past that first big ass boss. Ended up like, my console, I don't know if it was when my console broke or what happened, but I had to stop playing it for whatever reason. Got to it again on PC, got past that big ass boss, finally got to no spoilers, but you get to like a space station or whatever, like your main hub. saved and my save got corrupted. Like, and I had to start over. And I'm like, I gotta fight this big ass motherfucker a third time. No, I can't
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
So it just kind of sat there. And eventually I did pick it up again and got past him and it was like running around the open world type area and shit. And it made some good progress, but that was actually like the one of the last things I played on my PS4 before I made the transition to the PS5, and that there was like a little gap between that. Um, so yeah, that's one of the more egregious ones on my list. But
Like I said, man, that's a valid reason to never play a game again.
yeah, yeah,
Like you get down to a point where you forget you had the shit. Like
exactly,
if you can get to the point where you forget you had it and you also forget why you stopped playing it, then you're good. But if the
man.
second you see it, you immediately remember, you might as well not even.
Listen, there's a couple bosses at the beginning of that game. There's a boss, with the two. He has got two axes. It's a big ass robot, and then you fight. I want to say I don't know if it's the same robot, but it's like gigantic, and you're in this big ass mech, and it's pretty epic. But if I never play those boss fights again, I'll be happy. I will be okay in life because I mean, like four or
Because who
five
wants to go
times.
through that again?
Like, and just that's my whole near experience for real. Like in my head, that's what I think of. And there's so much more game. You're supposed to play this game multiple times just to get to fucking like true endings. I've started it multiple times. So now I gotta do that and still play through it again and again. It's just fucking with me. Like
No.
I have to do it though because it's such a thing in my head. I love the game without playing the game. I can just see it. I know this is a me game. So I'm gonna do it one day. One day.
All right, another indie game on my list. Nobody Saves the World.
That's
Action
oh my God.
RPG from the folks that gave us Guacamelee,
Yes.
Drinkbox.
What a fucking
Um,
unique game.
yeah, and I mean Guacamelee. Like that's the fact that they made Guacamelee is enough of a reason for me to play it.
Yep.
But again, just another one of those indie games that's sitting on the backlog because I need palate cleansers. Like a lot of my backlog, like I've listed a few AAA titles, but a lot of my backlog is indie games. Like a
Hmm.
lot of it because
Makes sense.
I need like I said, I need turn your brain off games. Sometimes I get home from work and I don't want to play Dragon Ball Kakarot. I don't.
Absolutely.
I don't want to
Absolutely.
play any. Sometimes I'll come home and I'll just play Madden for 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
mean, that's how it goes.
I just don't have
This
to think about that shit.
this used to be Overwatch for me, but it's not anymore. But yeah, I get
It's
it.
unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It really I finally
Sad.
deleted it like recently, but it is
Finally
what
let
it
that
is,
shit
man.
got off that narcotic. Good for you.
I appreciate what Overwatch 2. I'm not getting into it. I'm not
No,
getting into
no,
it.
no.
Nah,
Let's not.
nah,
I
nah.
look. I finally let the Destiny 2 narcotic go
Yeah.
months ago. I tried to I think I told you I tried to re-download it back in like October
Hmm.
of last year and played for like 2 weeks and then it was just like, yeah, I'm done with this
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
It'd
I
be
know like the
like that.
final shape is dropping, and I'm like, I don't care. And that's crazy because of how much time I put into like the
Hmm.
game and the story and the lore. And I'm just like, dog, I'll just look when Bife drop his shit, I'll be on his YouTube channel checking it out.
There you
But
go.
other than that, man, I ain't got nothing for it. I'm done.
Sometimes it's like it's running its course, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I definitely get it. I definitely get it. Speaking of indie games and wrestling related indie games, have you got a chance to play Wrestle Quest already or
Oh yeah, I reviewed it for Punish Backlogs.
okay, yeah, yeah. I was about to say I remember us talking about it, but I couldn't remember if you had finished it or yeah, okay, you
Oh
reviewed
no,
it. Cool,
it's the
cool.
shit. It's
Yeah, yeah, okay.
it's the shit.
Yeah, yeah, that's one that's on my
Please play that game.
yeah, absolutely. Another indie game on my list, Blasphemous 2. That is one that
Yep.
I need to play. Again, Kendall ass game. Like I'm a big Souls guy. I'm a big Metroidvania type guy, side scrolling type guy, pixel art type guy. It's all of these things. Like it has all this. So
So
I
such a
I, I know.
beautiful art style. As dark
Yeah,
and kind of weird as it is, it's so nice to look at.
yeah.
Animation is incredible. The atmosphere is ridiculous. It's just it's a perfect game.
Hmm. It
Like it
really
might
like
not be a 10 out of 10 like in that sense,
yeah, but
but
when
everything together it's a perfect game.
when I hear that statement and I want people to understand like what 10 out of 10 can mean for people, or like perfect can mean not for people. Because 10 out of 10 can be quality rating, but like perfect can be you set out to hit a goal and I can't see how you could have hit it better. Like
Yeah,
this is this is what you were trying to do right here.
yeah.
This is your vision brought to life. So
That's exactly what it is.
yeah.
It's perfect in that sense. Everything they wanted to do with that shit, they did it.
Yep, and this is an argument I make about a game like Hades all the time, so I get that 100%. Um, so I want to kind of wind it down. I got a few more on my list. I just want to mention two more. One is, to make childhood me happy and kind of complete the series to some degree. I still haven't got a chance to play Crash 4. It's a shame.
Dog,
It's a
dog.
shame. Like I hear such good things
I'm
about that goddamn game.
that's one we're going to have to square up on.
I know.
That's
I
one we're
get
going
it.
to have to square up
I
on.
get it, man. It was one of those ones that came out like I think I don't know what else I could have been playing, but I was playing some other shit and it just never I never got around to it, man. And it's on my it's I think that is downloaded. I've owned it since I got my PS5, so about a year or so, but
Let me tell you something. You go back in time and tell 9-year-old me that there's going to be a fourth Crash Bandicoot game and that you didn't play it, we
yeah,
won't be sitting here right now. It's
we
that
really will.
butterfly effect type shit.
It will fuck,
We're done.
man. It
We're
will fuck
fucking done.
everything up. That's facts. But listen, I promise you, just wait a little longer to go back in time. I'm gonna get to it soon. I promise you. I got some stuff that I gotta get out of the way. I'm not mentioning some of the games that I actually have next on my list. Like, I just got Jedi Survivor. That's not a backlog game. I just need to finish Baldur's Gate and I need to finish Sea of Stars first. Like, those are games I'm actively playing, and if I don't finish them now, I'm never going to. Um,
Yeah, that's
so
yeah.
that's not true. I will come back to Baldur's Gate for the rest of my goddamn life. But
No, you won't.
yeah,
No, you won't. Because
if
Baldur's Gate is probably one of them games where if you don't remember what you were doing, you're fucked.
yeah, no, I will never come back to this playthrough if I don't finish it. But even if I do finish this playthrough, I'll be playing through this game like more like it's like a Mass Effect thing, but even more so. The amount of choices, I'm not going to get into that goddamn game. We're not here to talk about
It's,
Baldur's Gate.
it's a lot of shit. It's a lot of shit.
It's a lot of shit. But speaking of Game of the Year contenders from last year, that's what I want to end my list on. And that's Alan Wake 2. I've talked already about Alan Wake 1 kind of being a game that I've always wanted to try out. But I'm content with watching a summary. I'm not gonna hold you. Like I will fucking sit there and watch somebody on YouTube tell me what happened. Um, it would be dope to actually play it because there's stuff that really, really kind of like ties into it apparently. So I would like to get Alan Wake 1 off my list too, but just being a fan of Control and seeing what they did with the second one, I have to get this game in hands eventually.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that'll probably be one I get around to myself. I probably got three more. I got three more.
Okay.
Number one is Greedfall, which I
Mm,
got free. But that's my shit. Like open world
yep.
action RPG type shit. This one seems like more realistic because again
That's
one of those ones I started.
same. Same. I started
Um,
that in it is like a realistic Dragon Age. Like that's exactly what it or like
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And that seems like one that's going to take my time up because I've seen like it's another game that got like mediocre reviews. Um, for one of the things where like people either liked it or they just kind of put it down immediately.
Right.
But that's just style of game is my shit. But it's also the type of shit that I will put some serious time into. So I need more time. I tried to say
Absolutely.
that like Denzel. I wish you had more time. And I just fucking don't.
I feel that.
Which then brings me to the second game on that list, Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is basically the same exact
Whole
fucking
description.
game.
Like we could just double back everything we just from the realism to all that shit. Yes.
Dog, it is like I said, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, eventually that's gonna get run, and I guess I'll say I had four. I'm putting these two together, but
Okay.
I have Mafia and Mafia 2 definitive
Mm.
editions, and I loved three. But I feel like I loved three because you could play as a black dude,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And
the story was dope. But you could play as a black dude, and that's why I loved three. But also like those type of games, like I watch like mobster documentaries and shit like that. Like I
Mm,
fuck with shit like that. I like watching. I like reading stuff about Al Capone and motherfuckers like that. You know how they came up. So I figure,
well,
I'm probably going to enjoy the game either way. It's just not going to hit the same. Like
yeah,
the I'm the racism is not going to hit the same. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
yeah,
playing as a black dude, motherfucker being racist. I could beat his ass.
right, right.
I'm doing the racism.
That's exactly what it is. Like, you know what the deal
So,
is. Like,
yeah, so it's like it's not going. I'm probably still going to enjoy it, but it's
yeah,
not
and they
going to hit
probably
the
not
same.
going. They're probably not going to go
They're
super
probably not
hard. You
going
know.
that far. But I wouldn't be surprised if I heard the word "mooly" in there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. I played Mafia, the first one back in the day. I don't know if I played two, but I know I played Mafia at one point and enjoyed it. It was like at the time a GTA that didn't have the shooting quite down, but I know like the remaster kind of helps with that shit. So yeah, I think it's I mean, and then that's very like derivative to call it a GTA. It's an open world like action shooting game. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So.
but it's got a much more. I don't. I guess it's a focused story would be the right way to put it
Yep,
because
and even
it's a documentary in some ways, like just in the way the story played. But it's like a
yeah,
mob movie. It's
yeah,
like playing Goodfellas. It's just it's not as high quality because nothing fucking touches Goodfellas. That's like the
yeah,
greatest mobster movie ever.
and it really is like playing one of those. It's very folk driven. Even like the shooting, it feels like
Yeah,
very narrow and like you know what I mean, like
yeah.
focused like
Because
that.
I think I started one. It's either one or two where you start out as you're like driving people around in the cab.
That might be
Um,
two because
okay, so it's probably two, but yeah,
yeah,
that started. I'm like, damn, this really is some like low level. Like I'm starting off as a motherfucker that ain't got shit, and then
hmm
the mobster sees me and goes, "Hey kid, you want to make some money?"
damn,
Like that
is
type of
that
shit.
is that how I don't know which one that was, but like those two games are kind of a blur to me. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think they both work for business, especially since they both got remastered. So.
yeah. So that's next. That as far as triple A's goes, those will probably be my next two.
Not mad at it at all, man. That's a underrated series for sure. All right, well, we definitely want to hear from you guys, man, about what's on your list of games that you haven't tried yet, games that you started but need to pick back up. What got pushed off so you can go ahead and play Baldur's Gate or Zelda last year? I know some did.
Right?
It's okay. It's okay. We're not judging.
Not at
But
all.
let us know, man. Let us know in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe. Let us know that you're enjoying the content. And hit us up on Twitter at Eclipse Theory and on Instagram at Eclipse.theory. So we're here for you guys. We want to make this a show for you. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Till next time, I'm Kendall. This is Tony. And make sure you keep gaming. Take care.